Hey guys, what is up? Max is here, and today we have another episode of Sideline Podcast. Alright, Nate and Noah are not here yet again today, guys. I am sorry about that, but I'm going to take it away. We have a fun Christmas special, so cue the holiday music, dun, 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 because it is time for a fun-filled holiday Christmas-themed podcast. We have some good lineup today, and it'll be super fun. Make sure to check out our Instagram for cool stuff. As the next 2 weeks there will not be a podcast, more than that later, but there will be a lot on Instagram about that and other things. Of course, we're going to have our power rankings. They're going to be a little different this time, and we're going to have our score predictions, everything like that, and it's going to be some cool Christmas stuff. We got one big Christmas theme thing, so I hope everybody has a great holiday, because we are taking a holiday break. I hope everybody has a great holiday, and I hope you enjoy this podcast. Make sure to follow us, Instagram, subscribe, like the video, and share with your friends. Okay, let's get straight into this one. So I'm going to start off with the first segment for Christmas. All the NFL players are getting presents this year. Let's take a look and see what they got. Our first player, Odell Beckham Jr., he has gotten a very awesome present, and it'll go good for his hair. It's the Run the Table hair products. Special for running the table, and he will enjoy that, and hopefully it'll help his Giants make the playoffs. Alright, next up, this one, Kareem Hunt had a little surprise, and I think you'll get a kick out of this one. He got Kick Chicks, the best cereal for the holidays. Kick Chicks. Okay, that's spelled K-I-K-C-H-I-X. Kick Chicks. Get your cereal, get healthy, and get running. Alright, next up, Aaron Rodgers. Like a good neighbor, playoffs are there. Well, not this year. It looks like the Packers aren't going to make the playoffs. Sorry, Aaron. Alright, next up, the New England Patriots. I mean, they had a good gift, but they lost it at the last second. Those dang Dolphins. Alright, and next up, Kirk Cousins gets the Clutch-O-Meter 4224. And that's for winning records, and it's guaranteed a clutch winning record against other winning teams. 4224. For the teams with the winning records, 4-24. The Clutch-O-Meter. Next up, John Gruden. Well, he was going to get a great pass rusher for Christmas, except they traded it away for the draft picks. Well, and Baker Mayfield is getting an I'm feeling dangerous pills. Andrew Luck gets a sack simulator. Nice sack. Taysom Hill, well, he gets a spinner, and he gets to spin the wheel to find out what position he will play next. A lineman? Maybe, not the best for his build. Kick returner? Why not? Running back? Sure. Let's have him at wide receiver. Let's have him at cornerback. Let's have him at punter. Let's have him at kicker. Let's have him at coach. Oh, how about we put him in his actual position, quarterback? Nah, let's put him everywhere else. Alright, and finally, the referees. They get holding, defense, number 25. The guy in the red shirt and white beard with the presents and the deer, Santa. It's Christmas and Jason Garrett paid me money. Never mind, there's no penalty on the play. Touchdown. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Alright, next up is the power rankings. Okay, we are doing it a little different today. We wanted to lower the time, so we have 3 honorable mentions and then top 5. So our honorable mentions are like numbers 6, 7, and 8. Alright, let's start things off with number 1 of our honorable mentions, the Houston Texans. They lost an incredible win streak, but will still make the playoffs. Deshaun Watson tried to keep the Texans alive for 267 yards, but couldn't pull off the dub. What does this tell us about their ability against important games and in the playoffs? Remember, they were away in this game and they lost to the Colts. Can they still do good in the playoffs, or does this show that they don't have the ability to go all the way? Are they too young a team? Well, we will see. Our next honorable mention is the Dallas Cowboys. Dak went off going 42 out of 24 for 455 yards and 3 touchdowns in a thriller OT win against the Eagles, which the final score was 29-23, which was a great game. And Zeke had a great game too. The trio of Zeke, Dak, and Amari Cooper is virtually impossible. They currently can clinch division with a win at Indianapolis, which will be a tough game for them. Look out for Dallas though, because these Cowboys aren't playing around. Now, final honorable mention is the Seattle Seahawks. A Monday night win over the Vikings was a sloppy but good teamwork to get the division win. Wilson could have performed better, but no major worries. Just be sure to get the division game wins, because those are big statement games. If you can win those, then you can make the playoffs. Alright, number 5, the Patriots. New England had a great game against the Dolphins. Brady had a 62 completion percentage and threw 358 yards and 3 touchdowns. Gronk caught 8 passes for 170 yards and a touchdown. They probably wouldn't have lost if the defense did a better job of keeping the score low for Miami and not having them keep on piling points. But overall, the Pats look pretty solid and have a 78% chance at a first-round bye and a 99% in the playoffs. And now, scenario-wise, let's say they win at Pittsburgh, and that's a clinch the playoffs and division. Now, not necessarily, but pretty much. Now, a win at Buffalo after that would clinch the playoffs. And even if they lost to the Jets, they wouldn't get the first-round bye, but a win there would. So they look pretty good because they don't have 2 tough games. The only tough one was Pittsburgh. So if I see them losing that one, maybe. But beating Buffalo and the Jets, they still clinched the division. So nothing to worry about there. Too madly. Alright, next up with number 4. The Chargers. Phillip Rivers is in MVP mode. This team had more wins than he has children. He has 9 kids and they have 10 wins. Without Melvin Gordon, the rushing game has struggled, and it shows. But LA looks determined to go far this year. For more stats, Austin Eckler, the backup, had 50 carries for 66 yards and a touchdown. Keenan Allen propelled them to a touchdown out of 78 receiving yards off 5 receptions, and got an average 15.6 receiving yards. The defense did okay. Derwin James helped create some separation. And sack-wise, Joey Bosa got a sack, and so did Kyle Emmanuel and Uchenna Nwaso. Great teamwork overall, and everybody looks solid. The Chargers could go far this year, even as a wild card behind the Chiefs. Okay, number 3, the Rams. A rough loss to the Bears didn't help the Rams in our rankings, but they still clinched the playoffs earlier. The whole team has trouble and lost 15-6. They didn't even score a touchdown. They can't play like this in the playoffs or they will get smoked by good defenses. Remember, Jared Goff was starting, Todd Gurley was starting, all their stars were starting. It just shows what a good defense can do to a good offense. Should they be worried? Should we be worried? Should Rams fans be worried? Can another team that's next up on this list in the NFC take over and really make their name for themselves as the Super Bowl representative in the NFC if they can't do that? And by the way, if you're running where the Bears are, they would have been one of the other honorable mentions, number 9. Sorry, they just didn't make the cut. Alright, number 2, the Saints. A nice comeback win for Breeze puts them at number 2. Ingram and Kamara both rushed for 50 yards, which puts them as a dynamic duo in the league. Probably the best running back duo right now. Even though he had a 1-to-1 touchdown ratio, Breeze had a passer rating of 90.9, which is decent, and a win to show off. The Saints are looking good, and it looks like they will be going in. And also, they have already clinched the division, and they have a 95% chance of first round bye. Ooh, that looks good for them. Alright, and the number 1 team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes raises his case for MVP. A thriller win over the Ravens, and the whole team looked good. Without a doubt, they are the AFC Super Bowl favorite right now. The defense has stepped up, the offense is staying, and the coaching puts the puzzle pieces together. Showtime! And that OT win was just great. And when we go to our game predictions, you will see, because I think that they are without a doubt a great team. Alright, and that does it for our power rankings. Comment below who you would have had at number 1, and what are your rankings? Who do you think will make the playoff picture, and more on that. Also, make sure to check out 538.com/NFL predictions, which is how we calculate how teams can win the division, get the Super Bowl, get the first round bye by plugging in the games. Alright, and next on to my score predictions. Alright. With my score predictions, I have an upset of the week, a lock of the week, and a game of the week. I'm going to also say the prediction for Thursday Night Football, even though it has already happened. Alright, let's get right to work. My first game prediction is Chiefs-Chargers. The Chiefs are home, and I think they will win. A close game. My final score is 34-27 Chiefs. The reason I think that is because Mahomes has been doing great, and I think the coaching is just slightly better, and I think the team is just better than the Chargers. This will definitely be a good game, though, but not our game of the week, which we will show later, and I will tell you after, but I'm going to give you a hint. This wasn't it. Next up, Texans-Jets Saturday game. Jets are the home team, but that won't give them any help, and the Texans win 26-13. I think Deshaun Watson is going to do good. Lamar Miller will have a good game against the Jets defense. And I think that Demaryius Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins will be back, and they're going to just shake off that loss to the Colts and look good. All right, the Colts can still be dangerous. And next up, we have the Browns-Broncos. Broncos home, but Browns going to win 28-19. Now, you might think, well, this could be an upset, but is it really? Because we'll get to the spreads in a moment about that one. Anyway, but this is going to be a close game, but I think that the Browns will win 28-19. Okay, next up, Cardinals-Falcons. Cardinals pull off a slight upset, 24-21. Both teams have been doing pretty bad lately. The Falcons are on a 5-game lose streak, and I think the Cardinals will slightly take over them. Just because I think that Josh Rosen will play a little better than Matt Ryan, and I don't think the teamwork on the Falcons or the consistency or the confidence is up there for a win. This will definitely be a big blow for the loss, and they will probably not be making the playoffs after this one. And yep, if they lose this one, they are out of the playoffs at 4-10. Yep, not a good season for Atlanta. We're just 2 years off the Super Bowl. All right, next up, Raiders-Bengals. I have the Raiders winning after the score 17-14. I think that the Raiders are on a hot streak after that upset versus the Steelers and putting up a bunch of points against the Chiefs. And I think the Raiders will just outbeat the Bengals, who are having QB issues as Andy Dalton is on the IR. And also, if you're wondering, Cincinnati would be out of the playoffs for this game. Still, as well. And as well as Arizona, who's already missed the playoffs, this win in Atlanta would screw up Atlanta, as we said. Alright, but next up, we have Vikings-Dolphins. Now, I have the Dolphins winning this one 31-16. The Vikings are fresh with a new offensive coordinator. Nobody's really sure how they'll perform. It could be a tough one to predict this game, especially games are tough to predict when right after a coach gets fired or there's a big player switch, because you're not really sure how they perform because we haven't seen the team work together yet. But I've seen the Dolphins, and I know they can put up points after the Patriots, and they are playing a much worse team now, 31-16 Dolphins. All right, next up, Cowboys-Colts. I have the Colts winning 29-21, even though the Cowboys are on a 5-game win streak and they look virtually unstoppable. I think that the Colts are gonna shake them out of their system, just mess up their game plan, screw them a little bit. Andrew Luck's going to look good. They're going to be determined. They're going to try and go for the playoffs. They want to stay in this thing, the Colts. So, yeah, win would put them at a 34% of the playoffs. Dallas already has won the division according to my predictions. So, yeah, since the Dallas has won the division, they make the playoffs. So, the Colts still trying to get up there in the AFC, and I see Luck doing it with the connection to Abram. It's too unstoppable. All right, next up, Ravens 37, Buccaneers 7. The Ravens are home, and they'll make good use of it. Lamar Jackson's going to have a great game, I believe, as he has proven himself better than Joe Flacco. All right, not much else to say except the Ravens have a good defense, so this is really just a good team, the Ravens, as we saw against the Heat. And I think that the Ravens are going to win. And the Ravens are going to give the Steelers some trouble for the playoffs, and they're going to give them trouble to win the division. Because I don't know who's going to win the division, Pittsburgh or Baltimore. It's really, based on my predictions, which you'll see in a minute, I have Baltimore at a much bigger chance of winning the division and making the playoffs. Steelers not making the playoffs, that would be interesting. Well, I mean, Le'Veon Bell kind of screwed them. Anyway, we'll see that in a minute. Lions 14, Bills 16 is my predictions for that game. Not really much to say, but the Bills will, I think they'll get a slight win. Neither team has been playing well. Next up, Packers at Bears. Bears 24, Packers 10. The Bears defense is going to keep on rolling, and the Bears are going to try and keep on going, and they're going to clinch the division here. And just while they're going to try and get a Super Bowl win and make a Super Bowl run, 10-4 at my prediction here. It might not seem very likely, but maybe. All right, next up, Redskins Jaguars. Both teams have not been doing good lately, but I have the Jaguars winning 17-8. I think the Jaguars will get an early lead. And this is going a little more in depth. I think the Jaguars get an early lead, and the Redskins will score late in the game and put up a 2-point conversion. I mean, the Redskins quarterback is Josh Johnson, who isn't good, and the Jaguars have Blake Bortles or Cody Kessler, who they're both stuck with for now. So it's going to be a low-scoring game, but Jaguars will pull ahead. Redskins try and stay in it. All right, next up, definitely not a good game to watch unless you're a fan of this team. Titans at Giants. The Jets and the Giants are both home, which is why they're having neutral end zones. Jets are playing Saturday, though, as well as the Broncos-Browns. Okay, but Titans Giants. Derrick Henry and the Titans and Mariota are going to beat the Giants by a narrow score of 26-24. Definitely a good game to watch, and it'll be a close one, but the Titans have a slight edge. Unfortunately for the Giants, it means their magic running the table, and Odell's magic hairstylish of leave table run or run the table hair products will not work, and it'll be a bad gift, go bad use, and unfortunately the Giants are out of it. So I think that Tennessee will do that, and fortunately for the Giants that would be the end of the run, but this game could really go either way. So I don't know if I would bet on this game. We'll get to that in a minute. Next up, Seahawks 41, 49ers 13. Even though the 49ers are home, they don't really have a good QB situation. Meanwhile, the Seahawks look pretty good. I gotta say, they've already clinched the playoffs with this win. So that's why I think they will win the division too. And yeah, even if they go to the wild card game, Seattle looks good. And they can definitely win in primetime, which they've shown before. Alright, even if it's not a good one. Next up, Patriots 27 at Steelers. Okay, so Patriots 28, Steelers 27. The game's in Pittsburgh, but Patriots are better. Great game to watch, but it's going to be a close one. So, alright. Next up is two more games. Sunday night, Eagles 17, Rams 32. Safe to say that the Eagles are not better than the Rams. And with Nick Foles starting and Wentz injured, who might not be returning this season, it looks like the Rams will just have a field day and put up 32 points against a struggling team. Finally, Saints 34 at Panthers 27. Another good game to watch, but I think the Saints will just take over. I mean, they're the better team. And yeah. Alright, next up are the Vegas spreads. Next up, Nate made his thoughts on the spreads. So he's going to say whether or not they're covered or whether or not to touch it. These are his opinions, keep in mind. Alright, Kansas City, 3.5. They're favored by 3.5 and not covered. He says don't touch this one because it's a close. Houston, favored by 7. Covered, and he loves this one. Denver, 2.5, not covered, and not a great one to touch either. Minnesota, 7.5, and it will cover, and he thinks they will explode this weekend, but I disagree because we're not sure how they'll do. I wouldn't necessarily touch that one because we're not sure how they'll do under the new offensive coordinator. Things are going to switch up, but do what you want with that one, I guess. He says to touch it. Okay, Cincinnati by 3, not covered, bad teams, so yeah. Baltimore by 7, and it's covered, and I personally think that's a decent one to touch, but be careful. Anyway, because you never know what happens with an upset. Next up, Indianapolis by 3, not covered, don't touch it all, because Cowboys, Colts, anybody can win that one, virtually. Alright, next up, Buffalo by 2, and it's covered. He didn't really write anything about that. I don't know if I would touch that one. Chicago by 6, covered, don't touch though, because they could still end up losing to the Packers. Alright, next up, Giants by 2, covered, nothing to say. Jacksonville by 7.5, covered. Atlanta by 10, not covered, and be careful about that one. Seattle by 4, covered, and he loves it. New England by 2.5, covered, he says they will smoke, who knows though. The Rams by 11, covered, and finally New Orleans by 6.5, covered. Alright, comment below your score predictions and your thoughts on the spreads and whether or not they will be covered. I hope you guys have a great holiday, and I'm just going to go on about the no podcast. Basically, we have to take a holiday break because we're really busy with stuff, but we will be back in 2 weeks. We're not going to have an episode next week or the week after, 22nd or 29th, but next week we will be back after that with more stuff. So yeah, we apologize, but we will posting stuff as well as score predictions, my score predictions on Instagram, and fun little segments, so don't worry. And we hope you enjoy this. Make sure to check Instagram as we will be posting mini clips from this podcast. And I know this wasn't one of the funny ones like last time because I'm the only one who's not really laughed at except one thing. Oh god, I'm losing my voice. I've lost my voice. I lost my voice the way the Patriots lost against the Dolphins. I'm losing it in the last second. I've talked too much. Oh god. Alright, what do the Patriots and I have in common? This is your final question before we leave. What do the Patriots have I have in common? Comment below. I say we both lost at the last second. Them, the game, me, my voice. Alright. Anyway, same with the Eagles. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, sub, share with friends, comment, follow on Instagram, check out all that stuff. And thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye. Peace.